Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Ali Charts here bringing this to our attention. Did you guys notice this? I keep seeing the S&P 500 is hitting new all-time highs while Bitcoin is dropping, but history shows this is normal. Let's just take a look at that for a second. The S&P 500, guys, on the daily end, the markets are not open yet, so this chart is static as of right now. But you guys can see that orange dotted line there. That is the pre-market price. And, even though the market has not opened yet here, let me see if I can zoom in a little better there. You guys can see the S&P 500 is, in fact, making new all-time highs. This is the daily again, and, yesterday we did see it get very close to its high of the day before, which did denote a new all-time high. Now, when we look at Bitcoin in comparison, what does that look like? Well, Bitcoin has been, I think we're pretty familiar with this chart by now, right? Bitcoin's been pretty much just trading sideways since March of 2024, March 14th, and we've been basically trending in this same pattern for, well, over 200 days, 211 days to be exact. But why is this normal? Okay, BTC is the leader, not the follower. By the time the S&P peaked in September 2018, Bitcoin had already dropped 68%. Again, in February of 2020, Bitcoin had retraced 54%, while the S&P 500 hit its peak. So guys, even though these are correlated assets, we can't rely on the fact that this is going to be the case 100% of the time. And, Ali charts, even though we've been fed this narrative that these are correlated assets or that markets go up, Bitcoin goes up, crypto goes up, however you want to slice it, there are still some nuances here. So he mentions 2018. Then he mentions 2020, where Bitcoin did retrace 54%, while the S&P 500 did hit its peak. The same pattern occurred in December of 21, when Bitcoin had dropped 40%. Now Bitcoin has already dropped 33%, while the S&P 500 continues to make highs. So it's kind of what we are to expect here at this moment. Yes, this is taking quite a while, I'm going to admit. If I get rid of that line and I just put a marker here on the halving, so the halving day for Bitcoin, April the 20th, 2024, we are 174 days now post-halving, and we still haven't broken out yet. If you guys compare that to previous halvings, okay, so let's just take a look at the halving of 2020, for example. It took about 150 days, so not too far off. And I mean, I guess it really depends on what you consider the breakout. I guess maybe some people would consider it 77 days when we saw this, although we did come back down and we really didn't start, really moving till here. And then you can see that consistent move to the upside without too many wavering sideways trends. Of course, the markets were different too at this point. So Bitcoin was trending. I mean, again, this is very subjective because you could say it's really started moving up here. You could say it started moving up here. I mean, kind of depending on where you put this. But even at 160 days, when we first saw that initial spike, then we really started to see the big move to the upside for Bitcoin. Guys, we're at a 174 days. Unfortunately, though, we are not seeing even the slightest move to the upside. We have not broken past all-time high up here. So we are just really still waiting at this point. We got market in fear still. So that isn't helping matters. Cryptocurrency market looking fairly flat today. If I were to be honest, 285 days have passed in 2024, says Key Young Ju. If there is no Bitcoin bull market within the next 14 days, this will mark the longest sideways in a halving year in history. So he's also noticing that, right? The same kind of thing that I was demonstrating on the chart earlier. I mean, we're bound to see something different every single cycle, and this cycle's the first time that this has ever happened. It doesn't scare me. The crypto narrative is still on track, guys, but you will, of course, run into guys like this. Peter Brandt looking at the negative. Hey, Bitcoiners, are you familiar with the concept of market analogs? Here's something to think about. It has been 30 weeks since Bitcoin made an all-time high. Whenever has not made a decisive new all-time. I don't get why these people on Twitter don't proofread their tweets. Whenever has not made a decisive new all-time high within the same length, a 75% plus decline has occurred. So what he's saying is it's been 30 weeks and, we've never seen this before. We've never seen it take this long before. And what his metric is if we've seen this for this long and it still hasn't made a new all-time high, chances are it's going to go down and go down at least 75%. I don't think this is the high of the market. Some people challenging Peter Brandt on this. Peter Brandt is bullish on Bitcoin though. So, he's just looking at what the indicators are showing him. Nevertheless, he is still bullish on Bitcoin. So I will link this in the description if you guys are interested in what Peter Brandt has to say. Let's keep moving along though, guys. XRP, pretty much just following the rest of the trend. We did see a bit of an uptick for XRP, yesterday. And today, a little bit, but not too much. XRP still trading in around 53 cents. You can see, though, it's just basing. It's just vacillating here, trying to get up above, significant levels here. But, it's really just at the mercy of Bitcoin at this moment. So anyway, wanted to thank Peter Brandt, wanted to thank Ki Young Ju, and of course, Ali Charts just for posting that. Now, guys, SEC Commissioner Mark Ueda says their crypto policies have been a disaster for the whole industry. He went on Fox Business and dropped this bomb.
Well, it's great to be here.
What is the SEC doing regarding crypto?
Well, I think our policies and our approach for the last several years have been just really a disaster for the whole industry. We have been setting this policy through enforcement. We've done nothing to provide guidance on it. And as a result, this is being shaped by the courts. And different courts have ruled different ways. I think what this Wells notice is, and while I won't comment on the specifics of this litigation, the Wells, what has gone on is part of a broader frustration with the fact that we have not provided interpretive guidance as to what you can and cannot do. And if you are involved in some sort of securities offering, how you register, how you get regulated as a broker-dealer, how you get registered as an exchange.
So, there are people with common sense, apparently, over there at the SEC, but, these guys are not the boss. Of course, Gary Gensler is their boss. So even though, people like Hester Peirce and Mark Ueda here have opinions on the SEC and how they've been operating, their hands are tied. I know some people down in the comment section here are critical, but, of course, they're at the mercy of this guy here, this wanker right here. So, unfortunately, this is where we stand. But now, though, it has been confirmed that Ripple is going to file a cross appeal against the SEC. This one courtesy of Meta Lawman here, and CoinDesk did recently pick up this story. Ripple Labs will file a cross appeal for its ongoing case against the SEC. They did just announce this yesterday. The SEC filed a notice of appeal earlier this month in its long-running case against Ripple, which the regulator did first sue in December of 2020. Ripple's cross appeal is intended to ensure that the company preserves its points and arguments in the case. Chief Legal Officer Stuart Alderati told CoinDesk, though he did not go into any detail. But here was the quote, guys. We're really doing that to make sure that we leave nothing on the table, including the argument that there cannot be an investment contract without there being the essential rights and obligations found in a contract. District Judge Annalisa Torres ruled in July of 2023 that Ripple's programmatic sales of XRP to exchanges, which in turn sold the token to retail customers, did not violate federal securities laws. Under her ruling, XRP is not deemed to be a security. Like the SEC's filing last week, Ripple's initial filing is just a notice that will submit a more comprehensive argument in the future. Alderati said the two parties would have to fill out a form in the coming weeks, laying out a fairly high-level description of their arguments. But neither the regulator nor the company would get into the specifics until their opening briefs are filed. So I guess we're going to get more, when it comes to this. This is just the beginning. But you know what? Meta Lawman, he did call it here. Good Morning Crypto reminding us of this.
If the SEC appeals, then it is highly likely that Ripple will cross appeal and argue that the judge got it wrong about the institutional sales and certainly got it wrong about the ODL sales, that neither of those were, in fact, investment contracts that satisfy the Howey test. So this happens all the time. If the other party appeals and you didn't have a complete and utter total victory, then you cross appeal, to pass some skin in the game. Yeah.
So the war wages on in the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. Stuart Alderati commenting, clarifying his comments from earlier. The SEC lost on all key points. That's why they appealed. Today, Ripple filed a cross appeal to ensure nothing is left on the table, including the argument that there can't be an investment contract without there being essential rights and obligations found in a contract. Importantly, the SEC has already said they aren't appealing the ruling that XRP itself isn't a security. And apparently, guys, they even apologized in another case for suggesting a token itself could be a security. That's the law, and an appeal on these other issues don't change that. So, guys, what we saw back in 2021 when XRP did not break this high up here, right? When all those US exchanges decided to not list XRP, Yet the price still did go up about 1,000%. Well, that is going to be a thing of the past for this bull run, so that's positive news. And, to the point where they even apologized. Last year, the SEC unsuccessfully tried to take an early appeal of the rulings that Ripple's XRP sales on exchanges and Ripple's other XRP distributions, like to employees and developers, weren't securities. They'll likely go after these again, and they will lose on both again. We look forward to the Federal Court of Appeals finally putting a stake in the heart of Gary Gensler's misguided attack on our industry. Metal Lawman here commenting, respect to Stuart Alvarado, Brad Garlinghouse, and the whole Ripple legal team. The crypto industry and pro-innovation politicians need to gear up to support Ripple with amicus briefs. So that is the next course of action here. Amicus briefs will definitely be helpful in this case. Fred Rispoli also responding to this, although obvious Ripple has officially cross-appealed, stakes are super high now. SEC views New York as its fiefdom. If it gets reversed on a trial court win on institutional sales, it is messed. Of course, an SEC loss at the Second Circuit of that magnitude combined with a Harris win would guarantee an appeal to the Supreme Court. So, guys, this is also going to depend on who wins the presidency this year. If Trump wins, there may not be a Supreme Court appeal in the event of an SEC loss at the Second Circuit. So, a lot of factors at play here. Luckily for Ripple, guys, they did hire a former SEC enforcement director, Andrew Seresny. Okay, he worked 1 year as a law clerk at the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. Ripple has good preconditions for cross appeals to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. So as you guys can see here, Andrew Seresny, a partner at Du Bois Plimpton LLP, is on Ripple's team. So guys, Ripple is stacked. They have good odds of winning this case. It is getting dragged out a little longer, unfortunately, but I'm fairly confident that this is not going to affect XRP performance this bull run. And for more information on what I'm trading, how I'm looking at this crypto market differently than the last bull run, you can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. It is only $5 a month. I've kept it affordable on purpose. I want you guys all to join because I think this is a bull run that is, it's going to be for the books for sure. And, the crypto market could look very different after this. This could, in fact, be, our last time to really kind of maximize profits in the kind of crypto landscape that we have been used to for the last, well, I guess depending on how long you guys have been in crypto, but for 10 plus years. Anyway, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. That's where you'll find me for more information on that. Wanted to thank XRP Drops, Fred Rispoli, of course, and Stuart Alvarado for posting that. Also, Good Morning Crypto. We were talking a little bit about this yesterday, and, some more information has come up. Monica Long discussing the Ripple custody story, okay? She said here, Ripple custody is the de facto tech used by the biggest banks in the world, okay? DBS, SocGen, Forge, and BBVA. So let's just let that process for a bit. The biggest banks in the world are going to be using Ripple custody, and this is coming from Monica Long, president at Ripple. Now we're adding pre-configured operational and policy frameworks, additional HSM options, XRPL fungible token support, and compliance services via Elliptic, bringing its enterprise-grade products to crypto business. So this was the the official announcement here. We're launching the features. New features for Ripple Custody, bringing bank-grade custody solutions to fintech and crypto businesses. And the article is here. I will link this in the description. So simplified onboarding, XRPL tokenization and decentralized exchange support, pre-configured policy frameworks, R&T compliance monitoring, and a new user interface. And so some in the XRP community were commenting on this. Crypto Insight UK, for example, is saying, saying that he is mad that Ripple are saying now that all the banks they provide custody for will have direct access to tokenize whatever they want on the XRP ledger. And we in the community are too salty to get bullish, because we've been seeing this market just, trading sideways for so long. I get that, sentiment is down. I get that, especially for newbies, especially if you got in 2022 or even 2021, if you've been here now for 2 or 3 years and you haven't seen any kind of exciting pump. I mean, I know the OGs are, I feel like they're a little more optimistic because, if you were here during this period, this was a very, very different time. I got here in and around this period, and I'm still having the time of my life, even though my initial XRP purchase did go down. I did take this opportunity to cost average, but, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Basically what I'm saying, I get it. If you got in at any point in here, you're probably thinking to yourself, when moon? And so like I've said throughout, the spec run is going to be an opportunity for XRP to get up to higher prices. But guys, it's the real world utility, and this is the path towards that. So Crypto Insight UK saying, you know, it is actually happening. Some people will miss out and feel it in the end. And guys, this is why at patreon.com, I'm going to be discussing my my strategy for keeping some of my XRP, selling some of my XRP. I've got a strategy for everything. So again, you can follow me over there, patreon.com/workingmoney-channel if you're interested in what I'm doing. In this tweet thread, Moon Lambo was commenting too. He says, isn't it interesting that RWA is a narrative for this bull cycle? And every bull cycle, we tend to hear, a narrative discussed as, as kind of the driving factor. And this is, in some cases, what ends up hyping certain coins, like for example, in the last one, we were hearing about NFTs, and NFTs became the hot thing, and people were dumping money into NFTs left, right, and center. Well, here he's saying RWAs is a narrative in this bull cycle, yet XRP had this functionality since inception. Interesting, though, how people are now recognizing how useful and important this is on a larger scale. So yeah, it is important, it is useful, and even the people over there at Ripple are commenting on the same, okay? Andrew's here mentioning this. This is how they'll be able to move the largest banks and FIs onto the XRP ledger. So step 1, offer custody to major banks and financial institutions. Some of the largest banks are Ripple custody customers. And step 2, offer simple XRPL integration for tokenizing real-world assets for their customers. It is a smart strategy here. So he was just pointing out just a highlighted screen grab from the report that Ripple did release yesterday, an XRPL integration for tokenizing real-world assets, or RWAs. Guys, remember when we do talk about the concept of real-world assets, that is trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that potentially could be tokenized on the XRP ledger. And even the CEO of Archax did come out a few months ago discussing this, the fact that there could be between 30 and 50 trillion dollars being tokenized over the XRPL through Archax. So interesting moves here, to kind of complement that narrative. And I've got Sean McBride here also commenting. For those wondering what Ripple's new offering to banks is all about and how it differs from custody, Ripple is offering a storage solution, okay? So crypto storage refers to the ways in which crypto keys are stored and the types of wallets that can be used to access and store them. So for example, crypto wallet, a hot wallet, a cold wallet, non-custodial storage, etc. I'm assuming Ripple will be providing custodial storage. Custody is the act of securing and storing the private keys that allow you to manage your assets. It involves transferring the keys to the custodian who secures them using enterprise data storage systems. This leads me to believe, though, that if Ripple is providing custodial storage for institutional customers, they are also likely providing custody services as well. This is a huge development, in my opinion, guys. This is basically, essentially what this is saying is it's getting Ripple closer to being a bank. Yes, the Bank of Ripple, they've got their financial institution licenses in certain jurisdictions around the world. I mean, in other parts of the world, it is easier for them to do that. But guys, it seems as though that is what they're focused on. That is their next goal, becoming this mega force that is going to custody crypto, provide an institutional infrastructure to tokenize real-world assets over the XRP ledger. And then you consider all the partners they have. All this, guys, eventually going to drive more utility to the XRP ledger, and that native currency XRP is going to see more demand, thus bringing prices higher. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.